So are you still involved with the boxing nowadays, or are you still watching?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, I'm part of I'm on the Ohio Boxing Commission, my state boxing commission. You know, I was doing commentary for Fox until last year. Then I had the contract up to last year. I had the contract last year, but I didn't work at all because they weren't flying nobody out west. You know, in 2019, I flew over 100,000 miles. And 2020, I got the plane twice, not for that, not for Fox. And they just were used all local people in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. So they just, this year they didn't re-up me because they said they're not going to be bringing people out. They're going to stick with, you know, which I would get it if you're not a billion dollar enterprise like Fox Sports. You're going to worry about flying people in. It makes no sense to me. So,
no,
you know, okay.
Is what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you training anyone or anything like that? Or
no, that's not what I do. You got to be a trainer. That's what you have to be. That's your life. I have other things. My other things going. So no. But I work. You know, if I'm in the gym, I don't go to a boxing gym. But once in a while, I'll stop in. A friend of mine has a gym. Once in a while, I'll stop in and I'll see somebody, and they'll talk and they'll ask me a few questions, and I'll show them. Yeah, here's, you know, show them a little bit. But it's totally different. The trainers, they're just inept. I don't know what else to say. The trainers are now, as opposed to trainers, my trainer, and even the guys up, probably Buddy McGirt and Freddie Roach are probably the last of that era that were direct disciples of, you know, Freddie was a direct disciple of Eddie Futch, and Buddy, the old man from New Jersey. I mean, but Buddy, you know, I can't think who his trainer was, but, you know, in other words, they learn from the old regime.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you know, I'll go in the gym and people say to me, look at my guy, what do you think? This, that, and the other thing. And, you know, or people say to me, can I send you you know, like I do consulting. People send to me about fighters. And I said, yes, you know, I'm very good at, you know, I only need 1 or 2 rounds. You see what a guy got, what he don't got.
Yeah.
Very good with that. And now the guys, people say, what do you think? What do you think? I said, you know, my son, I'll say, we're going to the gym. I'll say, what do you think? He said, Bob, he don't move his head. I said, exactly. And that's the number one thing. I'll see a fighter say, what do you think? Well, I said, your guy don't move his head. But I said, that's the problem with the fighters nowadays. The pros, amateurs, our amateur program is crap. Absolute crap.
Yeah.
Nobody's being taught. They're taught. So they're talking about changing it to try to get to more of a pro style. But our amateur program is like I said, horse crap. But even the pros now, the trainers, they go under. Perfect example. All you need to know, you watch, it's always on the online, right? You'll see guys on Facebook, whatever, catch a pad, right?
Yeah.
And they do this fancy stuff with the, you know. And I'm going, not once when they guys throw punches back to make the guy move his head. Yeah. So the guy throws his punches, he's in a straight line. Throws his punches, and they move over here. I said, everyone is like a world champion hit when nobody's throwing punches back. When I go say, what do you think of my guy? Doesn't he look good on a heavy back? I said, everyone looks good on a heavy back. The bag don't punch back. The bag don't punch back. No, but it's the truth.
It is true.
That's why my trainer used to say to me, when you shadow box, when you hit the heavy bag, everything, you visualize punches coming back at you. So when you shove it, you're moving your head. It should be automatic, where side, up and down, roll. So you're giving the guy a moving target as you keep coming forward. And as you come forward, you stick out your jab, stick it out, stick it to the body, stick it in. If you're an aggressive fighter like me, you got to give him a moving target. Yeah. And people say, these guys don't use a jab anymore. I'm thinking, you can't just walk in anymore on these guys. They'll sharpshoot you and move out of the way. And it don't look good to the judges. As you come in, you got to throw a jab. You get out jab. I used to out jab half the guys I fought. But you got to get close enough. If you can't touch it with the jab, you can't touch it with the right hand because it's got to travel twice as far. I never understood. You got to tap that on the shoulder, on the hip, to get closer. Once you get closer, then you go to work.
Yeah.
You can't throw a punch from outside. But the thing drives me nuts. More than anything, the fighters don't move their heads. They shadow box straight up and down. Shadow box straight up and down. guy catches pads, they're straight up and down. That's the part where you got to visualize something coming back. It's all sense memory. Because when you get in a ring, you ain't gonna all of a sudden it's gonna. You don't figure it out. It don't come to you. You train. You fight like you train.
Yeah. That's
So if you've been training to keep your head straight up and down, it'll be there. If you don't train to move your head and you throw punches, you come back in a straight line, you'll be there. A blind man can hit that. A blind man can hit you.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. See, why aren't you coaching? Why aren't you teaching?
Well, I could. Well, first, like I said, I think I'd be a good trainer. I really do. But again, that's got to be your life. I can't. I got my businesses going for. I got other things going. I think I'd be a good trainer. And like I said, I consult with people. They'll send me tapes of fighters, like I was saying. I'll take a look and I'll say, nah, this guy's a better pro. I mean, he's a better amateur than he will be pro. Or he's too amateurish. He can't make transitions to the pros. Or I'll say, this guy would be a better pro than his amateur because he's got more of a pro style. So you can see when you see some of the tapes. But more than anything, the training is just not there. The trainers are lack knowledge, not only in the States, which more than people push us, but everywhere. I mean, I welcome trainers in the UK, trainers over in Asia and South America. Yeah, you got pretty good one over there. With I do like Barry McGuigan. His son's a very good trainer. I think.
Shane McGuigan. He's very good.
I think he's a good trainer. You got a few. Don't get me wrong. I thought Joe Calzaghe's father was a hell of a trainer. Yeah. I loved watching Joe fight. He was one of my favorite fighters to watch.
Yeah, class. Joe Calzaghe, absolutely class, undefeated. He come with that head movement.
The best of all time. I mean, I would say for me, growing up, the best to come out of the UK for me was Ken Buchanan.
Oh, yeah.
But
now you're talking.
The Tartan Tornado.
Yeah, now you're talking.
And then I tell people, and you can't knock it but a lot of these guys. Here's the thing. Joe Calzaghe, I can't remember if he was still in the 15-round era. I think he might have been before it just became all 12 rounds. But Barry went 15 when he beat Pedroza.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is those were great. So Barry, I loved watching Barry because my style was the guy. That was like the guy very reminiscent of my style. I used to love watching him. And that's take nothing away from anybody. Barry beat one of the greatest featherweights of all time. For me, top 5 featherweight of all time. Eusebio Pedroza. Eusebio Pedroza defended that title 19 times. What was that 15-round era?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and Barry went out and dismantled him. Barry dismantled him in that fight. And I just, wow, man. I just was, wow. I loved watching him. I just loved his story. And then, of course, Joe Calzaghe. He slapped the crap out of all our American fighters. He smacked them all around.
Yeah, he was, and it's a shame for Calzaghe because he sort of only become. I mean, don't get me wrong, he had his fans, but he kind of become more popular, if you like, after he retired.
Probably should. That happens to a lot of fighters. That happens.
Similar to currently Andre Ward. I think he's another example.
Yeah, you're right. Andre Ward was not my flavor as a fighter.
Yeah,
I knew what a great stylist he was. I knew what a great technician he was. I know that. I just want to see guys put more into it, a little more action. But he was a great fighter. There's no dispute.
Well, that's what I say. My heroes are the sort of action fighters. I don't like, without sounding disrespectful, I don't care about a loss on one's record. No. Mickey Ward, one of my heroes, Mickey Ward, Irish Mickey Ward.
And Mickey's a sweet, and he's a friend of mine. He's a sweetheart. Yeah. How could you not root for a guy like Mickey Ward? Because you knew what you were buying every time.
Yeah, that's true.
When he fought Arturo Gatti, or even when Arturo by himself and Mickey by himself, but you knew what you're buying. You knew what you're buying with Arturo. You knew what you're buying with Mickey. You knew what you're buying with Barry McGuigan. You know what you're buying. You know what it's going to be. And that's what I hope my fans have with me. You have an obligation to your fans to give them the best fight possible.
True. What one of your fights was with another hero of mine, Bobby Chacon.
I love Bobby. He was a good friend of mine. I loved him. He was one of my heroes. And I'll never forget when I first went to LA, 80, my trainer took me out there because I was living in New York, but I had a hard time getting sparring in New York. You would think of all the gyms, I trained at the Times Square gym, went down to Gleason's. You would think it'd be easy to get sparring.
No.
No. I didn't even have my first fight. I had to pay sparring that $10 to spar me, $10 a round. I didn't even have my first pro fight because they don't want to spar with you if they can't get down out of it. And these are I'm talking about the Latino fighters like from the Dominican, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I said, I can't believe it. And then you bang them a few times to the body. Next day, they don't feel so good. They'll come back, So we went to LA. My trainer said, you can get all this work you want here. He said, I was 7-0 when I went to LA. And you can get all the sparring you want. And we're going to see what kind of fighter you are. And I sparred with Herman and Johnny Montez. Herman Montez mainly was my main sparring partner. We sparred this every day. They want to make it a war. And you have to earn your stripes there.
Yeah.
The last day I was there, last couple of days the last week I was there, I seen Bobby Chacon come in. I said to my trainer Griff, I said, Bobby Chacon. He said, I know Bobby. I said, you want to meet him? I said, let me meet him. I love Bobby Chacon. So he introduced me to him, told him what a fan, blah, blah, blah. So 2 days before I left, the last day I was training, my manager said, hey, Bobby, will you give my kid a couple of rounds? Yeah, sure. I went 2 rounds with him. Bobby was just playing with me, playing around, but I'm going all out, ooh, I thought I did pretty good. But Bobby, he's just playing, but he's having fun in there. He was the best.
Yeah.
And I loved him watch him fight. I remember when he fought Ruben Olivares, one of my favorite fighters. I remember when he fought Alexis Arguello. I remember when he fought Bazooka, of course, Boza.
Boza, yeah.
But, so those are fights there, but I met him before. I mean, in Bazooka Lamont. But I remember Bobby reading about Bobby from the early, mid '70s, to turn pro. So I loved reading about Bobby. When I finally met him, he was a hero.
What was he like then as a person? Just like
he's a beautiful man. He was just such a beautiful soul. Always smiling, always laughing. Everything you saw on TV is what he was. But he was a true warrior in the ring. Bobby, but when you left the ring, he was the most gregarious, loving guy. Have fun with him. And, you can have, Bobby never a mean bone in his body. Not one. And so it was just hard about, his life, the turn of his, how to.
Yeah.
And I used to see him a lot before he passed out there at different events. And he was becoming very childlike. He was reverting back to his, childhood days. And it was hard to watch that.
Yeah. It is a shame. What about yourself? What would you say your hardest fight was in, Ray?
My hardest fight?
Your hardest fight, your toughest fight.
Alexis Arguello was by far. Yeah, sure. I mean, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
That's the one guy, I knew what I was up against. I felt I was catching him on the downside. I saw him fight Jim Watt and win the title. And he didn't look great. But again, I see you can't look good against Jim Watt. Nobody looks good against Jim Watt. But Alexis, I thought, I watched Alexis. I read about it. I used to read about him all the time when he beat Ruben Olivares for the featherweight title in LA. I've watched him on CBS, ABC here, World Sports, where he beat Escalera in Puerto Rico. Then he did a rematch, beat him again. I remember when he beat, he had different fights. Then I saw him when he fought Jim Watt. So I used to watch a lot of Alexis fight. I loved Alexis. One of my favorite fighters. So when the opportunity came to fight him, though, to be the best, you want to fight the best. You got to beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah.
That's why, people say I was only 20. He already had 70-something fights. People say, I was too soon. I said, tell my father that. Tell my father how many chances you get to fight for a title. I said, let me tell you, what am I going to tell him? No, I'm not ready. Maybe next time, come on. There is no second shot.
No, that's right.
And if you believe in yourself, or you believe like I said, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Challenge yourself. I had just beat the number 6 contender, 2 fights before that. I beat the number 3 contender. Where are you going to go from there?
Yeah.
So it makes no sense. Yeah, but I thought, again, I was catching him at the right time. But if it's 12 rounds, I win the title. If it's 12 rounds, I win the title.
Yeah.
That's why the true championship distance is 15 rounds. And like any 15-round fighter, Alexis knew how to take it in the later rounds. And then he'd pick up, change speeds, pick it, different, changed gears, and experience went over. Experience went out. But after that fight, I knew I'd be world champion because I knew I had what it took to be a world champion, and I was one of the greatest. And if it wasn't for experience, I wouldn't have been world champion. So I knew I would use that for future fights.
That's brilliant. You know, like when I hear you talking, all these, I mean, I thank the gods for YouTube, you know, because all the fighters and everything I can watch, you know, yourself,
you watch all the fights,
you know, Aguero. Fun enough, I was talking with Sean O'Grady a couple of weeks back, and he also said the same thing about Jim Watt, just a tough, you know,
tough guy, yeah,
tough cookie, you know.
Sean fought him. Yeah.
Was there anyone that you didn't fight that you would have liked to have shared the ring with, you know, in your era?
Yeah. Well, of course, two guys. But first of all, I would have loved to fight Camacho in our prime. Me and Camacho were supposed to fight in 83, 84, earlier. And then we just had agreement. We came to the agreement. It was about to be made. And then the WBA, Duva, the main events, who promoted Livingstone Bramble, you know, pushed the WBA to make the fight. Instead of, most guys take step aside money, right? So we offered them step aside money, and then they fight the winner. And they said no, and it should have happened. We should have fought, you know, back then. It didn't happen. But eventually we fought. But it was 5 years too late. It was 5 years too late. Yeah. But the fights I wish I would have had that I'd never had at all were one, Aaron Pryor. Yeah. I loved again, to be at that time. I really felt confident in that fight. I really felt confident. Aaron was a guy strong. We know what he did. It was just, well, because he beat Aguayo beat me, but that's not how it works in boxing. No, styles make fights. You know, I used to watch Aaron all the time. He'd go out, he'd fight these guys like a buzzsaw, but they hit him on the chin and knock him down. He'd get up and knock him out. But he got dropped about 4 or 5 times, or 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 straight fights. And he was throwing what a punch. And I said, if he keeps his chin there against me, I'm going to tap him with that hook, and I'm going to keep him down. Because I was down here, bobbing and weaving. He was always up here. So and I said, he's strong. I knew that, but I didn't think he was going to be stronger than me. And I was willing to, you know, go toe to toe. It never happened, and maybe in retrospect, it's better off because we'd have ruined each other. You know, we'd have ruined each other. Yeah. But
that would have been some fight, though.
It would have been a great fight. It would have been a great fight. And then the other fight I wish I would have had that I was supposed to have twice. I only had to pull out of 2 fights because of injuries in my whole career. It was the same guy, Kenny Bogner. Kenny Bang, they call him Bang Bang Bogner.
Bang Bang, yeah, Bang Bang, yeah.
I would have given him an ass whipping. I would have kicked his ass. I would have. And the fact that we never got in there, and it bothered me. We were supposed to first fight in South Africa, in Johannesburg, in May of '83. I was over to training for 3 weeks. And also I'm sparring with one of my sparring partners, Teddy Hatfield. He threw a right hand. I threw a right hand. I could step back. I went to throw another punch. I went down like I was shot. Oh, the pain. He hit me here, and it broke my collarbone. Oh. Doctor said, 1,000,000 to 1 shot. Because I got hit 1,000 times before it, and I got hit 1,000 times after it on that shit. Nothing ever happened. But that one time it happened. And it canceled the fight. So then after I lost my title with Bramble, we were supposed to fight. We had a fight with Bogner set in September down in New Orleans on ABC Wide World of Sports. And about 10 days before the fight, I got a little nick over my eye, but it wouldn't, you know, and it wouldn't close. It kept seeping blood, you know, it wouldn't heal right. So a couple days before the fight, I thought, you know, my manager, we had a doctor come and look. He says, look, the first punch is going to open. Yeah. And my manager said, well, look. They were stopping fights quickly at that time. They were, you know, blood, you know, everyone got scared of blood. And he said, and we already had the rematch of Bramble set. He said, we want to really take a chance and then get it stopped and let the, you know, blow our chances for our rematch. So I had to pull out the day before the fight. And it killed me because all he talked about is I faked an injury. Yeah, this kid's stupid. Yeah. So I couldn't stand that. So I wish I would have fought him. That's the fight. Yeah,
that would have been some fight. That's what I say. Aaron Pryor as well. My God. Ooh,
And
wow.
you know, Styles made fights. Me and Aaron put a hell of a fight. And they were talking about doing it in Ohio, possibly in Columbus at the Ohio State football stadium, or they're talking about having it in Cleveland, Ohio, at the lakefront, where the Indians and the Browns play. It was called
Yeah.
Lakefront Stadium. But again, never materialized.
No. Are you still watching boxing these days? Do you still
I'm a
watch
big
it?
fight fan. I'm a fight fan. Sure, I watch
Oh.
it all the time.
So who you sort of who's your sort of
I like this kid Teofimo Lopez. I like him a lot.
yeah.
He's an action-packed guy. Some of the guys I like. I like Charlo brothers. I love this kid, David Benavidez. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, class.
David Benavidez will beat Canelo. He'll beat Canelo. I'm telling you, and he believes it too, and I believe it. I did commentary from when I was working for the Fox PBC. He's one of our fighters. This kid, you don't realize how his hand and it gets strong, man.
Yeah.
And people think I'm crazy. He'll beat Canelo.
Yeah, he's class.
So there's a lot of guys. I love watching Leo Santa Cruz. Unfortunately, he got beat pretty good by Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, that was
Tank Davis.
That was a naughty knockout.
Yeah, that was a vicious knockout.
Did you hear about Jamel Herring just the weekend? He come over here and
he went over and beat Carl Frampton.
Yeah, really impressive. I like Jamel Herring though. He's another one that I like.
He's a good gentleman. He was an ex-military. Hey, I love Carl Frampton too. This kid can fight. Fought 2 great fights with Leo Santa Cruz. He takes on all challenges. Yeah, I love that kid, Carl Frampton. But it's just he took the shot and didn't work out for him. And I wish him well. He had a hell of a career, great career. Wish him success in his life. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, he's probably picked the right time to leave the sport. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes that's how fighters. Most of us, that's how we have. We know it's time. When you get beat up like that, you go, okay, now I ain't got it no more. Yeah. You ain't gonna do that. Most guys, like say, we're gonna go out after a win, right? We're gonna go out win. We're gonna go out on top.
Yeah.
Then you go, okay, that lasts about 10 days or a week and a half, and then you got to start getting offers. No, I'm retired. A couple of months go by. No, well, let me. What's the offer? Yeah. After a little more, but let me get back to the gym, just see how I like training, see how it feels. It's inevitable. Yeah. So the only way when a guy knows when to shut it down is, well, for me, after the second Bramble fight, I had no love for the sport. I had no love for it anymore.
No.
And I went out the way I wanted. It was a brutal, tough fight, but I went out the way I wanted. I thought I won the fight. I didn't get the decision, but I went out, in my mind, victorious. Yeah. I went out on my terms. I was only 24 years old when I retired. I was 24. But I had a lot of time. That was it. But I had 32. At that time, I had 32 fights in 5.5 years. 32 fights and not a lot of fights. 5.5 years, not a lot of time. But 32 fights in 5 years. That's whatever. That's 6 a year. But the other thing I'm very proud of is, as a champion from 882 to June of 84, 24 months, I had 7 title defenses.
Crazy.
So
do the maths. You know what I mean?
That's one every 3 months. That's one every 3 months. So I was active. So
wow.
That's why it was time for me. That's why when I knew I had my financial security, time to shut it down.
That's great. I mean, one more thing just before you go. What are your thoughts on, for example, Oscar De La Hoya wants to come back? The last fight he fought was against Pacquiao, and he was absolutely battered, if I may say so. Without sounding disrespectful, he was given an arse whipping, yeah?
Yeah, he was. He did. Yeah, he did. But again, he came back. Ego brings fighters back. But you know what ego does? Ego gets you your ass whipped in life and in love, right? Same thing with love. Oh, we don't want to let go of relationships. You should let go of. Oh, I'll do whatever I can to make it work. But that's ego. But because we're not, ego gets your ass whipped, man, in love. You had a good woman and you messed up, and now you're trying to get in. Why? Why couldn't you be the right thing when you had it?
Yeah.
So same thing with fights. I'm gonna come back. Why? What? Ego got me my ass kicked when I came back to fight. After Camacho, I came back to fight Camacho. I retired. fight Camacho in 4 years after I retired, because I knew that was the one fight I never wanted to live with. I didn't want to live with what if. And I knew I wasn't going to fight him. He's not a puncher. I knew I was come back. I wasn't going to come back against a puncher, you know. So we did it, and I beat him. At the end, we realized I beat him, but it wasn't a great fight. It was a good fight, not a great fight, but it was, you know, big anticipation. So it did well, you know, box office numbers. But I satisfied what I needed to satisfy. So I went back, raised my family, and then I got offered another 3 years later. I got offered to fight. What's the name? Greg Hagen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I said, Greg Hagen. I was acting. I was doing an off-Broadway play in New York. I'm doing a wonderful job. I loved it. Yeah. And the promoter was a friend of mine, lived in New York, comes in, what would you think of fighting Greg Hagen? Now, let me go back. I enjoyed what I was living a good life. I was healthy. Camacho fight was over. Hagen, I wasn't thinking of fighting in any capacity. I was acting. I was doing what I wanted to do. But acting is not a physical challenge, but it's a mental challenge, right?
Yeah.
But I always want to know if I could come back and compete like a world-class athlete. I want to know if I could train like at that time. So I said, let me think about it. I come back and said, Greg Hagen, tough guy, can't punch much, takes a good ass kicking. He stands up front. Yeah. Because I'm thinking of what I was, right? Now I'm a father. I have 2 children at the time. You know, and life changes, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I'll fight him. So I had a great training camp, but training camp's not but a dress rehearsal. You know what I mean? We know that. Yeah. I'm in the dress, and I'm in the dress room before the fight, and my trainer says to me, Ray, I must have a look on my face. Ray, how do you feel? What's going on? And name's Chuck Fagan. I said, Chuck, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. He said, what? I said, I don't want. He said, that's a hell of a time to tell me now, ain't it? You know, and so, you know, I used to go into the ring with either you're getting carried out or I'm getting carried out. One of us is getting carried out tonight. But this time I was like, God, please don't let me get hurt. My wife, my babies, they need me. Please, you know. And I was beat before I went in the ring. You know, I could tell you things from my pro debut. I can remember a walk from the dress room to the ring. I can remember from when I won the title. I can remember specific fights. I can't tell you anything about that walk to the ring. I was, as I said, dead man walking. I can't remember anything because my mind was everywhere else but where it should be. Yeah. You know, so it's just, so what happened. What happened should have happened is my point.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how fighters know. I said, I can't fight no more. I like to think I could fight. You know, I stayed in shape and everything. You know what the crazy thing is, Richie? I got offered about a month after that. I got a call. At that time, I was living in Los Angeles, and at the Los Angeles, at the Inglewood Forum, where the Lakers play.
Yeah.
Jerry Buss did forum boxing. He had shows once a month. And he'd invite me. He'd invite different people. His secretary would call us. Hey, you know, Dr. Buss is inviting you. Very nice. It was a wonderful time. Sit ringside, some great fights. Seen some great fighters. His the head matchmaker, that guy named John. I think his name, John Davis. I think he called me. John Davis. He called me and said, Ray, would you be interested in coming back and fight Miguel Angel Gonzalez?
Oh, wow.
He said, would you? I said, did you not see me last month, my last fight? I can't fight no more. He said, oh no, we saw, but that's not you. That wasn't you. Who was it? Who was it if it wasn't me? Of course that's me. That's me now. Oh, it was bad night, you had an off night. No. That's me now. I can't fight anymore. I ain't got the mind for it. No more. Thanks, but no thanks. And they throw some stupid figure at you thinking you're always going to jump because they think fighters are going to jump no matter what the price is. And I always tell people, what difference how much money they offer you? People, if it's $1 million, whatever, $2 million, what difference? How much money does it take to buy your self-respect?
Yeah.
How much money? So I said thanks, but no thanks. You know, and that was it. You know, so that was it. That was the last time I was offered. You know, and recently, I got offered to do these exhibitions. You know, everyone's doing these exhibitions now.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that, and I thought.
I saw the Tyson Jones, right?
Yeah.
I thought, you know, it was terrible. It was horse crap. But I don't envy these. God bless them, man. These guys can make a buck off that. But who wants to watch that? I didn't want to watch it. I watched. I know I wasn't going to buy it. My son told me how to stream it, so I streamed it. I watched it about 2 months. I said I can't watch this no more. It's embarrassing. But I watched it from the beginning, right? And here's what happened. Everyone says, "What did you do?" I said, "Let me tell you something. What usually you talk to each other beforehand. We'll make it look good. It's an exhibition. It's what it is, right? It's a paid exhibition. If I hit you, I tap you hard enough, I hurt you, I back off. Or if you hurt me, if you become shots, I'll back off, whatever, right?" Mike Tyson was coming out there, and Roy Jones was doing this stuff. Mike Tyson hit Roy Jones a body shot, lifted him off the ground, and Roy Jones clutched and grabbed. And from that point, I said, I'm only assuming Roy Jones must have been saying to himself, "What the hell did I get myself into?" Right? Because Mike Tyson, even if he's pulling this punch, he still hits them. Yeah. And after that, you see Roy Jones clutch and grab, ran, clutch, grab, pity pat, clutch. It stunk the joint after whatever it was, 8 rounds, 8 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So I got offered to come back to do that, because Julio Cesar Chavez is traveling.
Yeah.
And he wants to come to the States. So the promoters called me and said, "Hey, Julio wants me to find him somebody. I know you always stay in shape. What do you think?" I said, "Heck no." And he goes, "Well," he says, "Well, will you at least hear the offer?" I said, "You know what? I'm not doing it, but I'd be remiss not hearing the offer." And he offered me 7 figures. And I went, "Hey, I'm flattered. I'm honored, but heck no."
Wow.
So people hear that. And I said, and he said, "Well, you're not even going to consider it?" I said, "Hell no, I'm not going to consider it." I said, "Not only don't I want to do it, I don't want to watch it. I won't want to watch it. Who wants to? I'm 60 years old. I just turned 60.
Yeah.
They were talking about it for the summer. I said, he's a year and a half younger, like he's 58, right? Could be 59. Who the hell would want to watch that? 58, 59-year-old, 60-year-old. Who'd want to? I wouldn't want to. Oh, the names. I said, forget the names. It's a young man's sport. It's to me, to get paid that type of money when guys that are actual fighters can't get nothing near that. Yeah. It's such disrespect for these guys. And I'd be doing disservice to my sport, disservice to myself, because my one, I have 3 children, right? Here's all you need to know. My daughter's the oldest. She said, "Pop, that's a lot of money. You have to consider." I go, "Hell, I ain't doing it." She said, "Well, you could do a lot of things with it, but I said, yeah, no." My oldest son, my second child, said, "Pop, you're not considering it." I said, "No, hell no." He said, "Pop, because everything you taught me would be a lie. You always taught me you don't do anything just for the money." I said, "You're right." He said, "And you'd be only doing it for the money." He said, "You always taught me you got to have a passion for what you do. You have no passion for it." I said, "No." So everything you taught me would be a lie. So I said, "I'm not doing it, but don't worry about it." I said, "Good, because I don't want I can't believe anything you told me." Now, my youngest child, my second son, he's a fashion designer living in New York, right? He said, "Pop, I don't want to see you fight, but let's figure out how we can spin this for the brand."
Oh. Oh.
Let's say we can spin this for the brand. That's all you need to know, right? You got 3 kids. One, my daughter, you got to do it, Pop. You make the money. I said, Nina, I said, I have a granddaughter now. My granddaughter's gonna be a year old in May. I said, "Don't you want me to know Layla's name in a couple years from now?" I said, "She goes, well, it's not a real fight." I said, No. It is a real fight.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition, but this is what it means. What it means, I said, here's what it means, Nina. You're not supposed to try to hurt me. I'm not trying to hurt you. I said, Chavez, would you kidding me? He smacks me. I'm smacking him back. He's going to smack me harder. I'm going to smack him. And then you're in a real fight. Yeah. These guys' ego. You think he's coming to America just to put on a show? What are you, crazy? These guys they're fighters, man. They're 4 fighters that are. Yeah. I understand what an exhibition is supposed to be. Yeah. I'm not sure they do. And I'm
so that's a definite no then. No.
And that's what I'm saying. No matter who it is, even if it's 2 friends. I get offers all the time for charity. Do an exhibition for charity. Get some young amateur, I go, hell no. They go, no. Well, for charity. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll be there ringside. I'll be a guest judge. I'll be the guest referee. I'll be there. But I ain't doing it for the reason I just told you. It's never turned into be what it's supposed to be. It's not going to be an exhibition. young kid or somebody's going to try to make a name for himself by embarrassing me or hitting me with some taking off on me. I'm going to smack him around a little bit, use my experience, and then I'm in a real fight. It's not what it's supposed to be. So no, I'm not doing that.
That's for me as a fan. That is great to hear. I know it sounds probably a bit, but yeah, it's nice to hear you say that. You know, it is nice to hear.
No,
You know, enough's enough.
Exactly. You know, and if I never thought I could make money doing anything else, I would do. I'd consider it, or I'd do it. But I have other businesses. I'm in other business, in entertainment business. I will make money. I'll make that same money. Maybe take me 2 or 3 jobs to make that money. But I'll make the same money.
Yeah, less punches as well. Less punches there.
Richie, do you want to see a 60-year-old man fight or spar?
Honestly, no.
No. Who was it? Jones, Tyson was it? We saw because of the names. After we saw it, did you wish you would have saw that? I wish I said. I wish I didn't see what I just saw.
There's talks of Holyfield and all this. I don't.
Oh my God! Holyfield wants to come back, challenge him. Stop, man. Stop.
Stella Hoya, Rafael Reles.
What started with you? That's what I started because you asked me about what I thought.
Yeah.
Him coming back to fight. Why?
Yeah.
The kid had a hell of a career. He's got tremendous. He's got more money for 10 lifetimes. He's doing a hell of a job with promoting business. He's got a hell of a promotional company.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And you know, in his last fight against Pacquiao, we saw what happened. You think he's gonna be better now? No. You could try to convince yourself. Oh, he thinks you could take on these guys, these young guys now. These young guys. No. There's no benefit to him fighting. To me, I don't understand it. And you only fight when you do stuff like that when you need to. When you
exactly.
There's no need for him.
Like you said, he don't need to. He don't need to tarnish his legacy or. Just my opinion as a fan, as a fight fan.
You can't add to it. You can't add to it. You can only damage it.
Especially what he achieved, you know, in the Olympics as well as a pro. Right, Ray. I'm going to leave you there, my friend.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate this. Right?
I appreciate your time. Honestly, it's been a blast. Honestly,
thank you.
And I'm really grateful for your time.
We'll do it again down the road sometime.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Maybe after a big fight or something. That would be brilliant.
Now, how far from Birmingham?
Birmingham. Probably take you from here 2.5 hours in a car.
Right. Because I do an appearance for my good friend. Do you know Scott Murray?
Murray? Of course.
Yeah, Scott. That's my guy. So Scott does an event every September. At the end of September, last week of September, he has the event. So I've been coming in for the last 3. Last year I didn't because last year was canceled.
Yeah.
The year before I was busy at that time, but 3 or 4 years in a row for him. So first I land in London and I'm making. He usually gets me. Here's our routine. I land in London. Takes me for a ride. We go around Piccadilly Square.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Ritz to get tea and scones, and then we drive up, and
Brilliant.
I love it, and I go, and so then I go to Birmingham, we're there for a couple of days, and then from there, a couple of years ago, I went to Cardiff, Wales, and then went to Scotland, and then I went to Dublino. At the time it was Dublino, right?
Yeah.
So it was great. So I go and then from there I just stay over and then go to Italy. So I'm right there. I said, so go to Italy and go visit. I take a 10-day tour of Italy.
So if this year or next year, if you're over, I'm going to come and see you.
Please do. As I'm saying, you hear about it. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's at the end of September every year. There's bar sport.
Yeah, that's my promise to you, hand on heart. Ray, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I really appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm on flowers.
Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend, and God bless you and your family. Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, my friend.
Cheers. Take care.